This is an ad. They're doing Old Navy ads. And the weirdness of this is Greg Kelly with Eric Metaxas, who's a big Trump fillator. And the title of this one is How the War on Christmas Made Me Want to Punch My Neighbor, Eric Metaxas. So if you're looking for a truly Christian way to handle the holidays, what you want to look to is the untreated mental illness that is Newsmax.
Is in Christmas, right? Do you remember Bill O'Reilly? We talked about this earlier in the show. He talked about the war on Christmas. It looks like the secular left may have won that war, at least as far as our culture goes. I'd like to bring in our panel, Eric Metaxas, host of the Eric Metaxas radio show. He is the author of Is Atheism Dead? And Mark Simone from iHeartRadio, the great talk show host, of course. Eric, every year we have this conversation, it seems.
Yeah.
But I really do think that O'Reilly was, it might have been a ratings trick at first, but he was onto something.
Oh,
he was
definitely
ahead of his time.
Absolutely, without question, a ratings trick. Just the guy's a jerk. Oh, by the way, I
believe the war, at least culturally, has been fought and almost won by the left.
Wrong.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a curveball. I know you can handle it.
All right.
I like you. You're smart. You ready? The war on Christmas has been fought and lost by the religious Christians, the people who go to church.
So people who go to church lose. I see. So the people who just like, the holidays to be about family, that's still there. But the people who want to claim it as a solely religious holiday and exclude everyone else, those folks lost.
If they really celebrated Christmas,
more Americans believe there is a war on Christmas. That's what this is. Look at that. Oh my God.
If they really, really believe the insane idea that God sent his son to this world, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Can you think of a better way to express your deeply held religious beliefs about Christianity and the life of Jesus Christ than God sent his son and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I'm shocked those people lost the war.
Really believed that and lived it out.
Which none of these men do.
Would be no contest. People who say they're Christians, what they really mean is, I'm not a Jew, I'm not an atheist.
Is that what you mean? By the way, Christians, anybody who's Christian is watching, it's not about defining who you are and what you believe, but it's just making sure other people know you don't believe that other stuff.
I'm not a Muslim. I guess I'm a Christian.
I guess I'm a Christian. There you go. True faith.
They really...
By the way, Greg Kelly feels seen right now.
...act in a secular way. And so it's up to us who claim to believe this to...
There you go. All right, dead giveaway. I think, thanks, Eric, for stating it in a way that we all, as clear as it can possibly be said.
Act in a secular way. And so it's up to us who claim to believe this to...
Run that by me again.
In a secular way. And so it's up to us who claim to believe this.
It's up to you who claim to believe this. That's right. That's right, Greg. Look, it's your turn to own the bullshit, Greg. Go for it.
Decide, do I really believe this?
Do you really believe it? Yeah, it's up to you to decide. I always thought it was somebody else. It was my mistake. I thought other people told you what your beliefs are. Why do I tune into Newsmax if not to be told what I'm supposed to believe?
It really happened. If it did happen, if this is true, if this story is more than a fairy tale, it is the most amazing story in the history of the world.
Well, no, spontaneous birth, while rare, wouldn't be the primary aspect of it. It would be the idea that God sent his son down to actually be killed for humanity's sins would be part of it. More of an Easter message. But what the fuck do you know? You just claim to believe it.
People have called it the greatest story ever told. If people who call themselves Christians...
In all fairness, the people who claim that have not heard my story about going to the Aspen Comedy Festival. it's a good story. It's a grown-up story. It's not quite a family story.
I'm not talking about Gentiles. I'm talking about Christians.
Not Gentiles, not Jews.
Actually believe this.
I actually believe you're in a shitty hotel right now. That's the amazing part. Best Western, I would ask, if you're in that kind of a hotel, and I've stayed in my fair share of them, what you do is you ask housekeeping to change the sheets before you go to bed that night. It's just a good, all the way down to the sheets, and hang out in the room while they do it. Yeah, make sure. Tip them nicely, but make sure that all the bedding goes. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that your jacket is a head lice magnet, but...
And lived it out as though it were true, because it is, it would be a totally different...
Thanks for throwing in that, as though it were true, because it is.
Ball game. It's easy for us to attack the left. The left doesn't really have to do anything except, it's kind of like Lucy with the football. You don't have...
Yeah, that's how we do that every year for Christmas. We take the presents, and you'll try to kick them, and we just move them out of the way.
Kick the football. You can't blame Lucy.
What'd you...
No one I don't know why you're smiling. No one knows what the fuck you just said.
It makes a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. No one... I don't know what the fuck he just said. Do you know what he means? It's a bunch of fucking gibberish.
And I am rather new on my faith journey.
Oh, fuck off. I am rather new on my faith journey. And then he goes, Jesus Christ. New on my faith journey. So I'm new to this whole Christmas thing. New on your faith journey. Really? Is that what your dad, who was the former, police commissioner, would say?
And as a...
What? Did you get baptized? Did you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior? Did you become a Scientologist? Have you started taking yoga and everybody at your church thinks you're a Satanist now?
Someone, I don't want to say newly converted, but newly alive in my faith.
Oh, God. All right. I'm not one to... If people have allegedly faith, I give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes. But I'm going to guess we're about to hear a bunch of the least Christian shit you've ever heard in your life.
I'm surprised that more people are not talking about the peace, the serenity,
Yeah, gee, I don't know why people who watch your show, Greg Kelly, full of lies, manipulations, bullshit, and straight up hate, just frigging hate, don't talk about the peace, the serenity. And look at Eric Metaxas.
life that is available through Christ. Now, Mark, I don't know if you were expecting this kind of a conversation, but I do think, though, there is, and Eric...
Hold on, wait. First of all, do we need to check a mental hospital? Because Greg has apparently escaped. Greg, where were you? Were you clubbing last night in your newly found faith? Or did you just hop off a gurney to do this show? Have they set up a green screen in the loony bin?
In on this, there is this feeling, well, we don't want to offend anybody.
Where? Where is this feeling, we don't want to offend anybody? And by the way, where the fuck is it offensive to state your religious beliefs? It never has been, it never will be. It's the insistence that other people suck if they don't share yours, which is bad across all religions, that's the problem. Especially the newly converted or whatever you want to define yourself as.
But we don't want to offend anybody. Now, I know Mark is very comfortable offending anybody, so Mark, please weigh in.
You're the least Jesus-y person here, according to our own standards of what we've just made up as Jesus. And Eric is very upset that he started to say something that he believed was as smart as the bullshit he was flapping about earlier.
Of course, there's a war on Christmas. I see.
Yeah. Well, of course, guys, it's war on Christmas. I have to move myself out of the way because it's like three. Good God, I just shrink down my name. You get me out of the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thumbs up. Yada yada. There's also this up here. There you go. Patreon.com/HouseBarks. Did I have something else in? Okay, there we go. Continuing. I want to hear what this dude's take is. And I don't know the dude, so I don't know why his take would be alternate.
Well, science, all holidays matter. Fighting this war on Christmas, and it seems.
What? All holidays matter? Oh God, this is like an all lives matter joke.
Every year, the war on Christmas starts earlier and earlier. Hey, and by the way, all you people, could you start a war on Thanksgiving too? I'm not crazy about Thanksgiving.
Oh, is this? He's. I don't know. We'll see.
Favorite holiday, but
well, that's because no one is thankful to be eating a meal with you ever.
The left will always argue that it doesn't exist, it's not real, it's ginned up. But try to put a Christmas tree on a municipal building and see what happens. Try to put a wreath up, and you'll see what happens.
Yeah, they often will put up other holiday ornaments as well. They share space because we're a religiously pluralistic society.
It does exist. There's a war on everything nowadays from the left.
Well, no, there's that would be, I guess the war on it would that be the declaration of a defensive war or the attack itself? Because there would be, arguably, you could say there's a war on public spaces by religious adherents of smaller and smaller sects of certain religions.
War on the police department. There's a war on jails. There's a war on every word you want to say.
That's that. I don't even know how you even talk with all that incoming fire.
There's a war on normalcy. That's where
there's a war on normalcy and a war on every word you might want to say, dude. If you want to say those words, I think you have bigger fish to fry than arguing about Christmas with these two newly fake Christians.
War is.
Mark, I think you are correct. There is a war. There is the left. Yes, they waged a campaign. But, Eric, I think I agree with you. Too much of we kind of just surrendered, right?
Of course I agree with Mark. There's no question. But the point is, whether you're a conservative, a patriot, a Christian, I don't care.
Yes, all those different things. A conservative, a patriot, a Christian, whatever. Now, you can't be one of those things without the other two, according to these assholes in this panel.
We don't fight back. If we don't
Yeah, that's the problem. You guys don't fight back. I mean, unless you count January 6th and Timothy McVeigh.
push back. I had a neighbor ask me one day, he put up a wreath on his door in New York City, and he asked me, I'm not joking, is this okay with you? Does this maybe offend you?
What a horribly anti-Christian thing to do. That's because he thought you were Jewish?
I wanted to punch him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. Then obviously it did, because the very idea of kindness and acceptance by your neighbor who was hanging a wreath, you wanted to punch him. If that's not the war on Christmas, I don't know what the fuck is. What are you talking about?
I said, are you joking?
If he was, that's hilarious, because he knows he lives next door to a prick. He can probably hear you through the walls.
He wasn't joking.
He was just being neighborly and Christian.
It is people like that.
Yeah, Christians.
Are so worried about offending anybody that they have themselves become, everything is meaningless.
Well, if I may, it might also be that as a Christian, the being a Christian and acting charitably in the world and respectful of other people's was more important to him than a display of emblems. Or he just didn't want to hang a wreath on the fucking door and he was looking for an excuse not to.
If you believe this is a great country, if you believe we should celebrate Columbus Day, Thanksgiving, all these things, celebrate it with everything you have.
Yeah, that's right. Dress up as Columbus, speak Italian, but only take money in Spanish funds. Yes, celebrate Columbus in every way possible. Get syphilis.
Unapologetically.
Yes. Celebrate Thanksgiving by making sure you list all the things you're not thankful for. Spend all, like, the true meaning of Thanksgiving is spending 96 hours shitting on the government of the United States.
Or I'm gonna put it on people. I'm gonna say, you don't believe it. You
heretic.
yourself don't believe this is a great country, even though people died so we could have freedom. You don't believe the Bible is true, that God is true. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so timid. Your timidity betrays your fear, your lack of beliefs.
Or you just know that people died so you could live in a religiously pluralistic society where people don't enforce their religious beliefs on their neighbors, but show them in a kind way, and letting your neighbor know that this is not a no Jews allowed sign that you're putting on your door, but indeed a wreath that's accepting to all. And if it made you upset, it wouldn't be worth the wreath, because to me, this has deeper meaning than just a display. I'm fucking with you. Punch him.
You have to figure out, do we believe these things?
No, you don't.
And if you believe...
Greg doesn't. Look at this. What the fuck am I supposed to believe? What part of this is the Jesus part? I was just saying peace and solace or whatever.
You better live like you do, and then you're not going to worry what people think.
Yeah, Jesus cast the elves out of North Pole. That's what he did. He drove the elves out of the North Pole.
I know you're doing them a favor because you're telling them the truth, and they didn't know it yet.
Yeah. Until this guy moved in next to Eric Metaxas, this poor sap thought that Christmas was about charity, giving, and kindness. But he showed him.
I love it, Eric. I love it. Mark, final thoughts?
You know, the Puritans, that was the last time we saw anything like this, where they were offended by every little thing. Believe it or not.
Oh, you mean the people who left left England to come to the New World? And if they hadn't been offended by everything, literally wouldn't have started the country? And you could argue that if anything is began America, according to this asshole, it's literally political correctness. Like the country was built on political correctness.
I think it was in the 1650s. They
Yes. They were tired of being offended, so they came over here.
The celebration of Christmas for a while. I mean, so you're going back to this ridiculous puritanical nonsense.
That was the heart of the existence of the country, and if it hadn't existed, they would have just stayed in England as part of the Protestant Reformation.
Eric Metaxas, we...
literally, that's fucking dumb. That's like beautifully dumb. What a way to wrap this up.
Mark Simone, of course, we appreciate it. To be continued, gentlemen. Oh, check out Mark on iHeartRadio, of course. And Eric's book is Atheism Dead. It came...
Why would you put Eric, why would you put a question mark on the end of it when you're definitely making a Nietzschean reference? Why wouldn't you just say atheism is dead? Because that's the case he's making. So why wouldn't you just say it? That was the whole thing from Nietzsche. God is dead. So why don't you just put atheism dead? Maybe, but you have a question mark? Don't you realize, Eric, that it's when you're timid like this, it just proves you don't really believe what you're saying? What a dick.
Just about 6 weeks ago, available wherever books...
Yeah, nobody knew. Came out about 6 weeks ago, and
We'll be right back.
He's never read it. So you've had 6 weeks to read it, and you haven't cracked a page. What a prick.